Wonderful panelists, thank you for joining. And I'd like to thank all of our participants for joining. We have 107 participants online with us now. And so we're happy to have you. And we're going to get started with our program as folks will still continue to trickle in. We're still going to go ahead and we invite you to engage with us via the Q&A feature, and I'll cover that in just a moment. But thank you for joining us. Happy Saturday to everybody. We're excited. We're always excited because we're Bruins, but we're really excited today because we're in this game later called the Final Four. So I'll talk a little bit about that, but we'll start with our program for today. We're really excited as Bruins to be here with you, and we welcome you to the UCLA Bruin family. I'd like to give you a little overview of what we're going to do today. And so we'll go ahead and get started. We're using the Zoom webinar feature. And so you're in the audience. You can go to the view options and choose the side-by-side presentation. You can also adjust the presentation size, which screens you want by moving that little button from left to right. We also ask you to communicate with us via the Q&A function that's at the bottom. So we want you to send your questions to us and communicate with us that way. And then we will also be using the chat feature to provide information and links to the audience. So to go into the Q&A, you just open that window to ask your question. You can either type your answer to your question, which we'll do, or we'll answer you live out loud, particularly when we get to the panel. And you can also ask questions anonymously by clicking the box in the left corner. I just want to give a brief update on COVID-19. I think currently UCLA is planning on having on-campus classes in the fall, but you can keep up to date on this very dynamic situation by going to the UCLA Samueli COVID-19 website. Rolake, if you will drop in the chat that link, and then this is also the QR code if you wanted to get that to go there. And then to find out what UCLA broadly is doing, you can keep up to date with that link, which Rolake is dropping into the chat, or you can use that QR code. So that's our COVID-19 latest information. If you click on there, you will find out what's happening. Now it is my great pleasure to bring to you the Ronald and Valerie Sugar Dean of UCLA Engineering. She's a member of the National Academy of Engineering. She received her PhD in mechanical engineering from the University of Minnesota. Her research areas include nanoscale heat transfer, computational fluid dynamics, simulations of fluid flow and heat transfer for industrial applications, and she is the first woman dean of UCLA Engineering. It is my honor and pleasure to bring to you, Jayati Murthy.
Thank you so much, Audrey. Welcome, everyone. Good morning. I'm delighted that you are all here. But before we get started, we've got a great program today. But before we get started, I want to acknowledge just how difficult this past year has been. And it must have been difficult for you and for your family and for your friends. It's really been an experience unlike anything in recent history. But I got my second shot yesterday, so vaccines are being deployed to more and more groups across the country. We're beginning to see light at the end of the tunnel, so I'm excited for fall. I'm just waiting for all of this to get done and for us to get back to campus. Now, if all of this goes well, as Professor Audrey O'Neill said, we are going to be resuming in-person instruction in UCLA this fall. And I really can't wait to meet you on campus and welcome you in person to our school. Now, with that said, I want to congratulate you on your hard work in high school. Now, you must have done something right, because getting into UCLA and getting into UCLA Engineering is not easy. I mean, this is one of the best engineering schools on the planet. UCLA is now the #1 public university in the country. And engineering is one of the hardest disciplines to get into at UCLA. So congratulations on that. Now, it's not just the students who deserve credit. I want to congratulate parents and family members in the audience as well. I know every one of you is just as thrilled, maybe more so than your children are, on being accepted. And you really should congratulate yourself. You've done so much to nurture and support them, and you really deserve a round of applause. So, congratulations. Now, I can't tell you what a wonderful school UCLA is. It's a beautiful campus. If you haven't been to the campus, you really should make a trip one of these days. But more than that, it's a warm and collaborative community. From our engineering school to the David Geffen School of Medicine at UCLA Health, to the law school, to life sciences, to the physical sciences, social sciences, Luskin School of Public Policy, you really can't find a more intellectually enriching environment than UCLA. I mean, many of our faculty have joint appointments across campus. They work in concert with experts in different fields. They collaborate on the latest research. And and this goes for our students as well, because they work with our faculty. They get hands-on opportunities in the labs, makerspace, access to mentors, industry advisors. So it's really a very rich and exciting atmosphere to be working in. Now, our motto, the motto of our Bruins, is excellence, excellence in teaching, research, and service. And even during all of these months of remote instruction, our faculty and our students and our staff have continued to foster an inclusive and supportive environment. Our many student clubs pivoted to work on projects remotely, despite all of this remote working environment. And I will tell you, I've never been prouder of our students, right? And they've been truly phenomenal. They've been resilient, they've been creative, and they work with integrity and inclusiveness, and I am so proud of them. When I became dean about 5 years ago, one of my major goals was to make our school more equitable and inclusive for women, both in terms of our students and in terms of our faculty. And so I wanted to establish a program dedicated to ensuring the full participation and the success of women in the field of engineering and in computer science. And this is really why we set up Women in Engineering at UCLA, we at UCLA. And it was developed to empower all women in the pursuit of an excellent education and career in STEM. So we at UCLA not only stands for Women in Engineering, but it's also an important reminder that this is a collaborative effort and that we, which is all of us here, are on this journey together, including the many men who supported us on our mission. So I'm very proud of this program and what we've been able to accomplish in such a short time. All the students who participate in this program are paying it forward and paving the way for so many more young women who will follow in your footsteps and become confident leaders of our community, both in our school and down the road in our engineering and computer science professions. So today, I'm really thrilled to see so many more women who want to study engineering than when I was a student long ago. This year, we are going to be 29% women in our entire undergraduate enrollment, which is a record. It's the highest we've ever been. And so I'm absolutely confident that these numbers will continue to climb. So UCLA engineers are problem solvers, and I know you will do great being a part of the solutions or in creating solutions to some of our most pressing societal challenges. And so I really hope that you will be a part of this wonderful community this fall. So I want to thank Audrey for inviting me to participate in this program, and I look forward to answering some of your questions later in this program. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dean Murthy. Thank you for always being so generous of your time and supporting the program and the women, not just as a role model for us, but as an interactive partner of this program. So speaking of the program, I'd like to tell you a little bit more about we at UCLA. And Dean Murthy did speak to it. Our mission is to enable the full participation, success, and advancement of women in engineering and computer science. And so we're the School of Engineering, so we have to call out computer science very specifically. So let me tell you a little bit about the We at UCLA program. It was established May 1st, 2017, It's an institutionalized student support program within the UCLA Samueli Dean's Office. It's run by full-time professional staff, and we have activities and events that are open to all UCLA Samueli students. There are no specific We at UCLA students. You participate in our programs, and there's no membership. So this is not a student group or a student club. It's not a club. If you'd like to participate, you're welcome to do so. Now I'd like to introduce the team. We are led by Professor Veronica Santos, who's also the Associate Dean of Diversity and Inclusion here at UCLA Samueli and a Professor of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering. I'm Audrey Poole O'Neill. I'm a double Bruin, having received my master's and PhD in mechanical engineering here at UCLA Samueli. I serve as Director of Women in Engineering, and I'm also an adjunct associate professor in mechanical and aerospace engineering. My colleague, Ashley Jackson Fletcher, is the program coordinator for Women in Engineering, and I'm going to break some news for you right now. She just became a PhD student in electrical and computer engineering here at UCLA Samueli. So she'll be around quite a while, and we congratulate her on this wonderful accomplishment. And my other colleague is Morolake Omoya. She is the social media director for We at UCLA. So I'm going to give a plug right now. If you're not following us on Instagram, you really should be. She's amazing. She and Jackson do a great job. She may have even dropped our Instagram handle into the chat. Who knows? So in addition to being our social media director, she's also a PhD candidate in civil and environmental engineering. So this is the team that welcomes you to the program. I'd like to talk about the principal areas where we at UCLA focuses. One of them is recruitment, and that's why we're here today. And so we're trying to get freshmen and other students who are admitted to UCLA, transfer students, graduate students, to choose us and to come to UCLA and join our program and our family. So we do lots of events, webinars being one of them. You're going to see some videos, you're going to see our social media push, and you may get a call from us. So there's going to be some phone banking. And then in retention, we have our student workshops and webinars where we do community building, peer-to-peer, student to alumni, and student to faculty. And then we have our career preparation, which includes our leadership and technical academies, as well as some other professional development workshops that we run. So let's talk a little bit about our undergraduate outcomes, which Dean Murthy has spoken of. So before there was a We at UCLA program in the 2016-17 academic year, the gender population at UCLA Samueli at the undergraduate level was 24% female. We're happy to say that during this academic year, we are now 29% female at the undergraduate level, and we are looking to take this 50% or higher. So we need you to join us to make that gold part of the pie even larger. But we're very happy about the progress that we've made, and we're just pushing forward to do better. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about our We at UCLA academies. So we have our We at UCLA Leadership Academy, and this is a cohort-based professional development and leadership series that's really designed to empower women. That is what we're into, and that's what we're about. Improve their self-efficacy and provide a sense of community among female students. So we bring in female industry leaders who are typically alumni who serve as keynote speakers and panelists addressing issues around leadership. We've had 130 women complete the program so far, and the themes around leadership which we discuss are self-efficacy, identity, ethics, confidence, community, and of course, teamwork. Now, I'm going to give you an idea of some of the heavy-hitting rock stars who joined us this year, and this is just one page of them. We had Nikki, who is a program director at Northrop Grumman, Dr. Oladuni, who is a physician in infectious disease, a professor at the UCLA School of Medicine, and got her PhD from UCLA Engineering in bioengineering. We have Dr. Clarice, who is a professor in electrical and computer engineering here. We have Asia, who's a Walt Disney Imagineer, and she came and talked all about what her exciting job is like and gave people tips on how to join maybe Walt Disney Engineering. We have Letitia, who's a Deputy Executive Director at the LA Metropolitan Transportation Authority. We have Miriam, who is a co-founder and a CEO of a major semiconductor company. We have Dr. Gina, who is among this group, is the only one who is not an alumna, but she is the first woman to get a PhD in building engineering from Concordia University in Canada, and they have named their engineering school after her. We have Lisa, who is a retired vice president of Southern California Edison, and she is an alumna of chemical engineering. And then there's Sue, who's a former president of Raytheon International, and she's an alumna of our school in electrical engineering. And Evelyn Cortez Davis, who is the assistant director of water operations in the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power. So this is just one page of amazing women who have been a part of our Leadership Academy this year. And we're so happy that they come and they give up their time to invest in the future, and you are the future. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about our technical academy. So we have a We at UCLA Aerospace Academy, and this is a cohort-based co-curricular series that's really designed to ignite career interest in the aerospace industry, as well as strengthen students' analytical and critical thinking skills. So we partnered with Northrop Grumman and Raytheon Technologies for this unique hands-on experiential training program that's run by their industry professionals. We've had 40 women complete the program so far, and the topics that we cover, Raytheon came in and taught us about cybersecurity, so I can neither confirm nor deny they taught us how to hack, but I can tell you I did go home and change all of my passwords that day. Northrop Grumman then came in and talked to us about systems engineering and explained to us how that worked. Then Raytheon came back and showed us how radar works and had us processing signals. And then Northrop came back and talked about stealth. How do we make things disappear? Very interesting. And then I'd like to ACMW, the Association for Computing Machinery Women, the Society of Women Engineers, and IEEE WATT, which stands for Women Advancing Technology Through Teamwork. And some of the fun things we do, the Women in Engineering Stay Over program, which has been converted this year to the Women in Engineering Stay In program. But I just wanted to give you an idea of what that used to look like on campus, and we hope to have it next year. We also have how to negotiate your salary workshops. This is very important when you start to get job offers. You want to go in and negotiate your salary. And so we bring in experts to explain to you how to successfully do that. We also have speed mentoring between faculty and students to help them find mentors, and then a confidence panel and a what not to wear fashion show. So the students are on the left, our alumni are on the right, and they're so young looking, it's hard to know that they're not students, but they come back and they talk about what gives them confidence in their respective professions, and they share that with our students. And then my personal favorite is dinner in the dorms with the dean. I cannot wait until the dorms reopen and we can reignite this tradition that we have every year. So now I think it might be time, I'm hearing in my earpiece, there might be time for a raffle. So now we want to get you involved. So what are we raffling? So we're going to give away a We at UCLA t-shirt, a $10 Amazon gift card, a We at UCLA bracelet, and a We at UCLA button. So we're about to give this away. I want you to go to the Q&A, but there's one caveat. You cannot claim these prizes until you come to campus in fall of 2021. So that's the only caveat. And then this is a question I want you to go to the Q&A window and answer for us. If you have already submitted your statement of intent to register or your SIR, please type your first and last name into the Q&A. If you've already submitted your SIR and the first 3 people to type their first and last names into this will win this raffle. So Rolake, when you're ready, can you call out? Now we're going to check now and make sure you really have, but we know you're all honest and would be honest with us. Rolake, can you tell us who are the winners?
Yes. So far we have Anika Lima. I hope I'm not butchering any names. We have Chantal Wang and Victoria Zhang.
Congratulations, ladies. Congratulations. We will see you in fall. We will give you the goods, we promise. Now we're going to get on to the part of the program that you're probably most interested in is our panel discussion. So I'm going to stop sharing and we're going to get into a discussion with our panelists. You've met Dean Murphy. You've heard me mention Professor Santos, but I'd like to ask that our panelists one by one go through and introduce yourselves. Tell us your name, your affiliation with UCLA Samueli. So let's start with Professor Santos.
Hello everyone and welcome. Congratulations again on your admission. We'd love to see you and meet you in this fall. I'm the Associate Dean for Equity, Diversity, and Engineering and Faculty Affairs. I'm also, with my professor hat, a professor of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering, and I direct the UCLA Biomechatronics Lab, where we work to give robots a sense of touch.
Thank you. Professor Eiler.
Hi everyone, I'm Carissa Eisler. I am an assistant professor in the Chemical and Biomolecular Engineering department. So I'm pretty new. I started in 2019, but this isn't my first time here. I was also an undergraduate student from 2006 to 2010, so quite a while ago. But I'm so happy to be here, and yeah, and oh, I guess my research is on using nanomaterials and combined with photonic design to kind of reimagine a more sustainable future.
Thank you so much, Professor Eisler. Erky.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Erky Corpus. I'm one of the many academic counselors that we have at the Office of Academic and Student Affairs. And our job is to kind of help you create a path for you to accomplish your goals here. Obviously, one of them will be, to study engineering and get your degree, but, you might want to study abroad. You might want to add a minor. You might want to do all kinds of stuff, but we're there to help you make that happen.
Thank you, Erky. Okay, Joanna.
Hello, I'm Joanna. I'm a third year material science and engineering undergrad. I have been through the WE at UCLA Leadership Academy, and I'm currently in the WE at UCLA Semiconductor Academy, and I'm hiding my messy background, but if you'll be at the WESP events later, you'll see me there as well.
Perfect. Okay, Bella.
Hi, everyone. My name is Annabella. I'm a third year civil engineering major undergrad, and I was a participant in the WE at UCLA Leadership Academy, and I'm really excited to talk to you all.
Thank you, Bella. Itohan.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm a second year computer science major. I also did the WE at UCLA Leadership Academy, and I'm currently in the Semiconductor Academy.
And Ashley.
Hi everyone, so I'm Ashley. I'm a third year mechanical engineering major. I've done the Leadership Academy, the Aerospace Academy, and I'm currently in the Semiconductor Academy. And I'll also be at the WESP event later, so I'll see you there.
Thank you. Okay, so let's jump right into the questions. And of course, our first one will be for Dean Murthy. What do you love most about UCLA Samueli?
What do you mean, what do I love most? I love every single molecule of UCLA Samueli. I love all of it, all right? But I will tell you what I love most. I love most that it's a supportive, collaborative, creative environment. I mean, don't get me wrong, all right? We do the deep engineering stuff very well. We do the hard stuff very well. But what I love most is that we understand that engineering is well beyond math and well beyond equations and well beyond solving them. We know that engineering has to live in the real world, and you've got to make real world impact. That's one of the things I love. There is no way to make real world impact without working with other people, without working in teams. And so that sort of finds its way into our culture, all right? So this is not a boot camp. It's not a hostile environment at all. I mean, this is very much a collaborative family of people that are intent on creating and learning together. That's the part that I like most.
Thank you, Dean Murthy. I'd like to ask this to Professor Santos. Can you describe the characteristics of a typical UCLA Samueli student?
Definitely. I would say that a typical Samueli student is self-motivated, well-rounded, socially responsible and just overall and optimistic about what engineering can create for our future. And it's really fun for us to work with students like that.
Perfect. I've got a question for Erky, and I know all of the students are wondering this. This is a very good question. How many years does it usually take for a student to earn a bachelor's degree in engineering or computer science here at UCLA?
I believe our average is 4 years and a quarter, but that takes into account people that change their major like kind of like midstream. So if you come in as a freshman and you kind of stick to your major or you change very, very early, you should be able to do it in 4 years, even if you don't do summer school. And even if you didn't come in with any credits. I know a lot of you probably have AP credits, or maybe you took some courses at the community college. So some of those can potentially lighten your load. But if 4 years is the goal, you can do that. And again, like also some of the people that take longer are people that did 2 majors. Obviously it's more work, or if you did a minor, or so I always kind of say, if you take longer than 4 years, it's probably because of something you chose to do, whether it was all this, an extra program, or the minimum to be a full-time student at UCLA is 12 units, which is basically 3 classes. But if you take the minimum every quarter, you're probably not going to graduate in 4. I kind of, for the parents out there, I kind of compare it to paying the minimum on your credit card bill. It's just going to take longer to pay off. So, but 4 classes is sort of what we think is reasonable. So you can do it in 4.
Great question. I was wondering, and I know parents and students are wondering. Professor Eisler, what do you do to help ensure the success of your students?
I think it comes down to a couple different things. So in the classroom, I really try to build a sense of community, which is becoming really important right now that we're all kind of far apart from one another, and also try to build in more, student-focused learning. So not only what's going to be kind of fun to do in class, but what's going to really serve you in your future career. Outside of class, I really like that UCLA has undergraduate advising hours every quarter. So you get to meet with a professor of your major and just get to ask them questions about, anything about your life at UCLA or even beyond UCLA. So I get to see and interact with a lot of my students, multiple times throughout the year. And we're always available. I've been telling my students, like, come stop by my office when we're all back in person, because we really just enjoy being able to see you and help in any way that we can.
Great. Now let's jump into some of the student questions. So I've got a question for Itohan. What has been your favorite UCLA class and why?
Yeah, I think so far it was my freshman year class I took second quarter. So it was called CS32, and it was where we got to apply like all the things we learned from the first quarter to like real life projects. One project we actually did was like recreate Uber Eats. And this is kind of like one of many projects. And I thought it was so cool that I got to do that already in my second quarter. So yeah, definitely one of my favorite classes.
Great. My next question is for Joanna. Why did you choose to attend UCLA Samueli?
Many different reasons, but I think actually it's kind of funny because I hadn't really been considering UCLA as one of my top options before visiting campus, but when I went to discover engineering, kind of just seeing how welcoming everyone was and hearing from actual students, that alone put UCLA on the map for me. And I'm the kind of person who has always preferred like having tangible hands-on projects outside of the classroom. Like that's kind of my preferred way of learning. So it was really great to just see how involved student organizations are with the departments and like the communities that they've built. And I think just along with these things, my department, MSc, is pretty small. So I saw how tight-knit their community was and really appreciate that sort of supportive environment. So yeah, I think those are some of the reasons I chose Samueli.
Those are all great reasons. I chose it for all those reasons as well, except for the material science part. I have a question for you, Ashley. Why do you think it's important for women to pursue engineering and computer science?
So I think it's really important for women to pursue engineering and computer science because we know now how every single opinion is so valued in the workplace and education and beyond, like every single background, every single, like your sexuality, everything is just so important, seeing like the different perspectives and seeing how it impacts in a team environment. So something like engineering and computer science, you're always with the team, you're always meeting, seeing new people, seeing how other people work, and pretty much just solving problems. So having the different backgrounds, having these different perspectives is really key in order to come up with the best solution for things, or even it might not be the best solution, just a solution you wouldn't have thought of yourself. So, yeah.
Great answer. Appreciate it. So this question is for you, Bella. Why did you choose your major?
I chose civil engineering because I have always been really passionate about architecture and the design of things, in particular hospitals. And in high school, I was really good at math and physics. So I just sort of married the two, and became sort of a structural engineer. So that's my specialization today.
Thank you, Bella. Erky, I have another question for you. How hard is it to get the classes you need?
I mean, the students could probably also answer that question, but generally speaking, what I like to say is that you might not always get the classes you want, but you'll get the classes you need. And what I mean by that is that, you know, like I know that I think Itohan had talked about CS32. There is a very popular CS32 professor that only teaches once a year, and everybody tries to get his class. The thing is, it's going to fill up, but we offer like 3 sections of it that quarter, plus like 3 sections of it the next quarter. So if you need to take CS32, you'll get it. Or, you know, but sometimes like you might have to take math 33A at 9 a.m., which for a high school student, maybe that's not that big a deal. But when you get to college, you like lose the ability to wake up at 8. So everybody wants that classes between like 10 and 1, which I think is sort of like that because no one wants to be in class at 4 either, you know. But the thing is, like, you know, there during, you know, when we're in person, rooms are a limited resource. So, you know, we need to have classes in rooms from 8 a.m. until, you know, the evening. So you will be able to get the classes you need to graduate. You know, the schedule might not always be your dream schedule. Like, God forbid, you might have a class on Monday, but you'll have a path to graduate in the time you want.
Great, Erky. We all love those 8 o'clock class. If you think it's not fun to be in one, it's really not fun to teach in one. Right, Professor Santos? Why Professor has the right team? So agreed, all agree there, but you got to do what you got to do sometimes. This next question is for Dean Murphy. What is your philosophy about student learning?
What is my philosophy about student learning? Look, I'm a huge believer in hands-on learning and in breadth. All right, and that's where that's where I've been trying to take the school. Again, you know, I mean, we do depth really well. We do traditional engineering really well, and those are important skills for everybody to have. But I do believe that to be an impactful engineer, you've got to have breadth, right? You have to know about the world. You got to know history. You got to know sociology. You got to know politics, and then, you know, and you know, the thing about engineering is it's not just reading from books, right? I mean, you know, you wouldn't be a swimmer by reading about swimming, and you can't be an engineer by reading about engineering. Right, so we believe in hands-on learning, and that's the reason that we've been building out our makerspace. We've been trying to expand our internship program, our research program for undergraduates. And these are really important things to do in learning how to be an actual working engineer. So that's my philosophy.
And that is a great philosophy. This question is for Professor Santos. Have you ever had undergraduate students work in your research?
All the time. Undergraduate students are part of the fabric of our research lab, and studying human hands, robotic hands, prosthetic hands, we draw from all sorts of disciplines, even outside of engineering. I can say over the past 13 years, my lab has hosted almost 100 undergrad students, and there's always a handful of them in our lab year round. So I welcome you, come talk to me when you land at UCLA.
Wonderful. Take her up on that. When you come, go see Professor Santos. Just exciting work that she does, as well as Professor Eisler. So now I have a question. I'm going to pop back over to the students. I want to ask Ito Han, how has We at UCLA impacted your undergraduate experience?
Yeah, they've done so much. Even before I chose to attend, they already offered me like so many programs, and it made me feel comforted that like once I attend UCLA, like I'd be taken care of and have like staff I can go to. Um, and so I did the Leadership Academy, and it's kind of where I started learning about the resources I had. I gained more confidence through the program, and I also got to meet like a lot of other female engineers. And so it really did start off my journey for UCLA really strongly. And it was also through We at UCLA that I gained my research that I did last summer. They offer so many opportunities, and I'm still benefiting from it now. So it's just been a really great program.
Thank you, Ito Han. We're going to send you a check for that. We didn't pay you for that, but I think we now owe you, because that was like the best advertisement for this program we could have ever imagined. Thank you for your honesty, and thank you for being a part of our programs and activities. This question is for Joanna. What were classes like when things went virtual, right? All of a sudden, you're pulled out of class, you're online. Can you kind of tell us what that was like?
Yeah, I'll say the transition was different for different classes for sure, because different professors are more or less versed in current technologies and things like that. Some of the main differences that I saw was if the exams weren't proctored, which a lot of them were no longer proctored, then they would make it like a 24-hour window or something, and then the exam would just be longer or require more questions that you can't just like look at the book and kind of, oh, here's a practice question and I'll just copy it. So I think in that sense it kind of changed the approach to questions on certain exams to be more like analytical. How are you actually thinking about the concepts? And in general, I saw more group presentations and group work in all of my classes, especially for engineering. So even just this quarter, I have like, let's see, 5 presentations across 2 classes, plus like a lab class, which also has presentations. But I don't think it's a bad thing, because it lets you meet people in your class when it's so hard to meet and mingle when you're not in the same physical space. And a lot of it is also, it also gives you more autonomy over the material, because a lot of it is like, oh, you choose a topic and then you research about it and see what you're interested in and share with the class, which I personally really like.
So this question is for Ashley. What do you do outside of class? We know engineering is a demanding curriculum, but you can't just do all book work. Could you tell us some of the things that you do outside of class?
Okay. So I'm an engineering ambassador. So I help give tours for the School of Engineering. Yeah, follow us on Instagram. I'll put that in there, and we'll definitely be able to give you a tour throughout this entire quarter. But so I do that. I also like to hang out with my friends, play IM sports. I'm a big outdoorsy, sporty person. Southern California, I'm born and raised here. LA was perfect for me because I love the beach. I love hiking. I love the really warm weather. But I also like just hanging out with my friends, and in between classes, going and getting some food is always fun. Yeah.
Okay, good. So this question is for Bella. Can you tell us about a fun UCLA tradition?
For traditions, I would say ice blocking is the one that comes to mind. It's a block of ice that you buy at the local Ralph, and you go to the hill right in front of Voice Hall, and you just kind of sit on it and you slide down the entire hill. And there's like 2 bumps, and so you try to make it over the second one. That's always like makes you look really cool. And so that one's like a really popular like social among clubs. So they'll do that, and so I think that one's super duper fun.
Wow, sounds like fun. I'm going to pass. At this stage, I would break something that would need to be replaced. But I'm sure you students are doing this very safely and everything is great. I have a question for Professor Eisler, and you kind of alluded to this about the advising of students. Can you tell us how often you meet with undergraduate students in an academic year and advise them? Tell us a little bit about that process.
Sure. Once a quarter, we set aside a few hours within, the first or second weeks of the quarter starting to meet with undergrads, across any year. So typically I see undergraduates from their first, second, or fourth years, anywhere between 1 and 3 times a year. For junior students, because those are the classes I teach, I'm seeing them all the time. And I know that it's both a kind of policy for me, and I think a lot of the professors I know here, is that our class office hours not only serve as questions about the class, but if there's time at the end, we can talk about internships, we can talk about professional development, we can talk about anything about UCLA. So in that way, I see students pretty often. And I think I'm starting to see my senior students a lot more because they're trying to decide on either what job to take or what grad school to go to. So I think it just kind of varies depending on, what part of, what time sorry, the caffeine is not kicked in yet. What time of your career you're at, and what kind of decisions are waiting on your mind.
Yes, I'm going to hit the caffeine hard when this is over. So thank you so much. Mine's not kicked in either. This question is for Erky. Can you tell us how the quarter system differs from the semester system?
Yes, so semester schools have 2 semesters that are each 15 weeks long, and quarter schools have 3 quarters that are 10 weeks long. And since you were all admitted to engineering, you might think, isn't a quarter, should there be 4? The 4th quarter is summer, which is optional, but fall, winter, spring is our regular school year. It goes a little bit faster, but I think some of the positives are that, you get a nice variety of courses, and I guess there's professors here, but sometimes, one of the positives is that if you're not a fan of the professor, it only lasts for 10 weeks. But I guess one of the positives, if you want to spin it the other way, is if you really like a professor, you have potentially another chance to take another class with them. And I mean, I went to a quarter school for both undergrad and grad, and I think my favorite part of a quarter school is that our breaks are all real breaks. So we have fall quarter, then you have your winter break, and then you have winter quarter, and then you have spring break, and then you have spring quarter, and you have summer. At a semester school, spring break is in the middle of a semester. So even if you go to wherever you might go, you might have to bring your books because you might have an exam the Tuesday you come back. But our spring break, you have nothing. Well, I'm sure you have things to worry about, but you don't have a midterm 2 days after you land back at LAX and start class again. So I think that's pretty cool.
Agreed. I don't speak for all professors, but we're happy when it's over too. So yes, we share that with the students. Now I want to jump back to the students and ask this final question. And we're going to open it up to Q&A from our audience. And I'll ask each of you. So think about your answer to this. I'll start with Ito-Han. What advice do you have for incoming admits?
Yeah, I think I would advise them to if you decide to go to UCLA, which you really should, to make sure you step out your comfort zone and learn more about yourself. Like college, you have so many opportunities to do clubs and classes, and you really get to figure out more about yourself. So make sure that you guys do that and you enjoy college. It only lasts 4 to 5 years. So just really enjoy the experience and learn more about yourself.
I think similar to Ito-Han, stepping out of comfort zone, but especially during your first year, whether that's freshman or transfer, I really suggest doing that because classes will get tougher and you will need to prioritize later on. And just so much of the university experience is the people you meet and connections you make. So all those different perspectives will come really, really, really in handy in your work and your classes and stuff like that. So
exactly.
I think for me, come into college with an open mind. Everybody is just as nervous as you are when you're talking to new people and meeting new people. So just keep that in mind and know that you're going to be okay no matter what. Like the universe is going to be by your side. Everything happens for a reason. And yeah, definitely join clubs and meet people that way. Join engineering clubs specifically because that boosts your resume a lot. And yeah, I think that's it for me.
Like everyone else said, get involved, but also I think studying abroad is really fun. I really recommend it. It was one of the best quarters I've ever had. And as an engineer, I was really thankful to get that opportunity.
Where did you go, Bella?
I went to Glasgow, Scotland. I went to the University of Glasgow.
Amazing. That's great. Okay, I want to thank all of our panelists. Those are all the questions I have. But I was looking at the schedule and it looked to me like it might be time for, oh, I don't know, something like a raffle. So now we want to do another raffle. You know how this works. We want you to go to the Q&A. And here's the question that we have for you. Now, you've heard someone talk about WESP, the Women in Engineering Stay In program, and it's all these wonderful activities that we have coming up later today for you. So this is the question. If you signed up to attend WESP, please type your first and last name into the chat. And then the same rules apply. We're into the Q&A. We same rules apply. You have to come in fall to win your gifts. To actually obtain them, but we're going to give away the same thing. It's going to be the t-shirt, the wristband, the button, and a $10 Amazon gift card. So you have already signed up for WESP, and then we're going to check later today that you actually come to WESP. So Rolake, can you read the winners?
Yes. Okay. So we have Kayleen Fan, Vidya Prabhu, and Uja Gathu, I think. Yeah. Those are the three winners. Congratulations.
Congratulations. So thank you. Erky has to go because he has another one of these. You see how awesome he is. So he's in high demand and we're so happy to have him here today. So we're going to now turn to some of the questions that you have typed in the Q&A that you have for the panelists. And Rolake is going to moderate that part of the panel by asking the questions that you may have typed during the time we were having the conversation. So
can I plug
Rolake?
Discover real quick?
Yes, please. We're going to do it at the end, but please.
Yeah, just before I go. So just want to let you know that we have an event next weekend for all students, men and women, called Discover UCLA Engineering. It's kind of like our big recruiting push. You'll be able to talk to more students, all of the student groups, the clubs, more professors from your specific departments. If you haven't already, you can RSVP by just going to your portal where you check your congratulations message for admission. And watch the game tonight. Hopefully we win. Go Bruins.
Go Bruins.
All right.
Go
Hopefully
Bruins.
we'll see you all in this fall in real life, not on a computer.
In real life. Thank
right,
you,
bye-bye.
Erky. Thank you so much. So yes, go Bruins. We have dropped in the chat a link to Discover, and we're going to talk a little bit about it, but he, of course, plugged that. That is like the big UCLA engineering display. You're going to see the student clubs. You're going to see the professors. You're going to see the amazing research. So this is the Discover We at UCLA, but you really need to go to Discover, and it's on April 10th. And so we look forward to you doing that. Now we will turn to some of the questions that you may have had for our panelists.
Okay, so one question we had was, how do you become a part of the leadership program and attend the talks by guest speakers?
Okay, I'll take that one. So we put out a We at UCLA Leadership Academy application, and we make it available to all students. And students apply to be a part of that particular activity. And then if you're selected, you find out what the rules of the game are. There's a lot of rules of engagement, and the cadets, we call you cadets while you're in the program. And those here today can tell you, we ask a lot. So we, when we were in person, we used to give you really good food. We also give you a nice zip up with your name embroidered on it. We give you a nice t-shirt at the end, but we ask a lot of you. We ask you to come to every session because you can't miss any. And we ask you to engage. And then we ask you to fill out evaluations so that we can make it better for the next group of students who come through. So those are like the trifecta of the things that we need them to do. But we certainly encourage everyone to apply, and we want them to participate. So that was a very good question. Thank you for that.
Do you have to be an aerospace engineering major in order to join the Aerospace Academy?
Okay, I'll take that one too. Absolutely not. So the Aerospace Academy is open to aerospace engineering students, material science students, chemical engineering students. Basically, we're open to everyone unless you're civil and environmental engineering or you're bioengineering, because those are the two majors that the aerospace industry doesn't typically hire. But every other major at UCLA Samueli is eligible for that particular academy.
Okay. Then there was a question about how has the WE UCLA program helped you throughout your time at UCLA? So I'm guessing this is for
So,
students.
yes, so which student wants to, I think Idohan spoke to it. Ashley?
Yeah, so I did, like Idohan, I did the Leadership Academy my freshman year, and it really helped me because going into that year, I did have an internship that I was going to do. So it helped me address situations that some of them I did encounter actually in my industry internship that summer. And it's just good to have like that confidence up your sleeve and know that you belong here and you deserve to be here. And it also, the WE UCLA program also is just giving me such a great sense of community too.
Joanna, can you speak to that question?
Yeah, sure. Well, similar to what Ashley said, I think it's really good at equipping people with sort of self-efficacy and like just even just having basically all of those people that you had on that slide earlier invited to our meetings and stuff like that, hearing about their experiences and what they deal with in the workplace. I mean, that's things that we'll have to deal with as well. And just sort of having that community, like Ashley was saying, really empowers us to tackle those obstacles. And yeah.
Great. Rolake, another question?
Has anyone on the panel switched majors in their 4 years of undergraduate education? How was the process like, and why did they decide to switch their major? Anyone? No?
No takers. Everyone came in as such. And that is a very good question that I would suggest you hold for Big Discover. And Arki had just left, but he can explain to you what the process is for changing majors, because that does occur. And he can certainly answer that question from that point of view. But none of the students here, everyone came in declared as such and has stuck with it all the way. Way to go.
Okay. How does WE UCLA prepare women engineers to face potential misogyny in the industry?
So would any of the women who participated in the Leadership Academy like to address that?
I could do that. So in the Leadership Academies, in every session, we talk about different things and we have people from industry come and speak and we problem solve things that, and so one of the topics we have addressed in a session was definitely misogyny. And it was interesting hearing the person from industry talk about their experience with it and seeing, and then you broke down into your little groups and you talked about it. And it's like, we went through example scenarios. So we just kind of like do a deep dive and break it down and see how we react, see how as a group we react to certain situations and how we should address it further.
Thank you. Another question is it overwhelming to attend such a big school? Are you still able to make close connections with classmates and professors?
I would say yes, it's definitely still possible, but it doesn't involve putting yourself out there like everyone has said, because when you join, clubs and organizations, that's a really good way to enter those communities and be a part of something. In terms of professors, I have not really had any professors where their office hours are so like populated that you can't even get a voice in or get to know the professor better. In my experience, it's been pretty easy if you want to drop into those office hours, and like they'll take personal questions, they'll take course related questions. Yeah.
Okay.
Great. So I think we have covered a lot here. and it's impossible for us to answer everything. So we want to say, come to the WESP activity later today, come to the big Discover UCLA Engineering later, and then you can stay in touch with us and we'll try and answer some of your questions. But now I'd like to turn it back over to our Dean, Jyoti Murthy, for some closing remarks.
Wonderful. Thank you, Audrey. And thank you, everyone. I hope, the discussion's been useful to you as you make your decision. I, for one, would love to see you here at UCLA in September. I do hope you'll come. I want to do a quick round of thanks. Thanks to Erki, who was here just a few minutes ago. And of course, to our professors, Professor Chris Eisler and Veronica Santos for spending time. And thank you also, Professor Audrey Poole-O'Neill and the We at UCLA staff for putting our program together today. But before we sign off, I want to touch real briefly. I want to put in a plug-in. I want to put a plug-in for undergraduate research in our engineering school. Now, engineering is many things, but most of all, it's connections and solving human problems. So you find those connections at UCLA. If you connect to the medical school, you'll be building diagnostic devices, therapeutics, you'll be working on sustainable energy, you might be working on AI, new computer languages. There's so much going on, such a rich intellectual environment that I hope you'll take advantage of all of that when you come to UCLA. More than anything else, though, I mean, of course, you're going to be surrounded by brilliant minds, professors and students. But I think you'll find a real sense of mission here. We're here to solve problems. We are here to improve the quality of life for the most vulnerable and underserved folks in our communities. And that's really what engineering is about, right? Now, you're going to meet some of these brilliant people in the upcoming Discover UCLA Samueli on April 10th. So I hope you'll sign up for that. So come join us, watch the game tonight, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Dean Murthy. Spoken like a true Bruin. Just go Bruins. So this is bringing us to the end of our Discover We at UCLA program. As Dean Murthy has thanked everyone, I'd like to thank her. I'd like to thank the faculty who joined us. I'd like to thank the amazing students who help us do what we do. And for my colleagues who are on the We at UCLA staff, you're the reason why we do this. You make the sun shine for us. We look for your bright, enthusiastic ideas, and we want to help you get to where you need to be. And that's our job. That's what we hope to do. I think we have a raised hand. I wanted to acknowledge, is there a question for Tiffany has a question. Tiffany, can you type your question in for us? And if not, we can answer it later at WESP. We will certainly do that. So I want to plug WESP. Here's what it is. Women in Engineering Stay In program. We have our amazing female leaders of these wonderful student organizations and other volunteers who are going to join with you. They're going to meet up with you at our 12:30 meetup. So we'll see you there at 12:30. We've got a fireside chat later. Dean Murthy will be there. Professor Santos will be there. Professor Iser will be there, plus many other faculty. And so we're just going to informally put you into breakout rooms and let you chit chat amongst each other about general things and then about things specific to your major. So we're looking forward to that. There's a little basketball game happening later today where UCLA is going into a game that we are really going to try to root them through. And that's going to be happening a little bit during the fireside chat. So if you're having a chat with a faculty member and then all of a sudden the faculty member says, yes, go Bruins. It's involuntary. We can't help it. We'll be cheering them on and we'll be already starting to get you and encourage you to start being a Bruin and encouraging them as well. So thank you for coming today. Thank you for your time. We hope to see you later today. We hope to see you at Discover UCLA Engineering on April 10th. And we certainly hope to see you on campus in the fall. So thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.